Good Wednesday evening. Welcome to the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. Am I sounding all right, Kyler? I'm a little tinny in my ear. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. 3 nights a week here. We talk about high school sports Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday through Thanksgiving. Monday and Wednesday after that, so that everybody can go watch a little high school basketball, which is fitting because we're going to talk a little high school basketball here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit of football too, because I'm proud of what that dude at the end there got his team to do against Monterey the other night. That was a lot of. I told Jason Sims last night, I'm glad that the Lowry Field scoreboard had new light bulbs, and you guys gave it a workout last week. So we are going to jump into the Western Fan Zone in just a minute. I want to run through the football schedule real quick before we do that, just to get it out of the way. If I got to find it here somewhere. I know of one of them. I can start with Thursday night at Lowry Field. Estacado is at home against Perryton. That's in District 2-4A Division II. Matadors opened up by going to Levelland and winning. Wasn't necessarily a squeaker, but it was a close game. Perryton got pretty much mud stomped by Liberty last week, so they're going to be a little bit hungry for a win. Friday night, District 2-6A out at Tiger Stadium. Friendship is at home against Midland Legacy. That'll be on Double T 97.3 FM. Lubbock Cooper is at home after they got whomped pretty good. Chip Darden is coming in tonight. I won't say the score too often. They got beat 66-16 by Abilene Cooper. That'll be on right here on Double T. That was Friendship. That'll be right here on 100.7 The Score. Monterey is at home. That's the HubCityPreps.com game of the week. Monterey's at home against Tascosa. That is the HubCityPreps.com game of the week. At Lowry Field at 7 p.m., that is 93.7 The Eagle. Coronado goes up the road to Caprock for another District 2-5A Division I game. That's on 96.9 The Bull. Let's see, Liberty is at home against Borger. Yes, Borger. That is on 93.1 Young Country. We'll come back and get the private school games after that. I'll make sure I got everybody. Oh, forgot Lubbock High, forgot the Westerners. Westerners are at Abilene High, Shotwell Stadium. That's down the radio dial. My guy Rob Bro will be there for the call on that one. Before we jump in and talk to you all about basketball, I do want to get Juan Rod to talk about. I know it's a loss, Juan, but your guys showed a lot of fight the other night and put up some points against a team that's starting to kind of find itself in Monterey. Real quick, what'd you walk off the field feeling like after that one?
I think it's really important to say how we felt, somewhere in the middle of the game, which we felt confident. And I think our kids understand now that we're able to compete at a different level that we've been able to do so in the last couple of years. And to do so for a half with a great program. And Coach Sims does an amazing job over at Monterey. They're a high-powered offense. They can score. And we were able to do something that we planned in going into the game, which was control some of the clock and keep their offense off the field. And that was what kind of led to our success. But our kids bought into that philosophy of not trying to do too many things too fast. I thought our defense regrouped after that first series, and we were going into the second quarter or the second part of the game feeling really good. And just proud of our kids, proud of the way we played, morally proud of the way we ended, and what we talked about. Coach Sims and I is bringing us all together and doing affirmations for each other and just complimenting each other's program. I think just shows the type of character we have at our coaching staff, but more importantly, what LISD is all about.
And I want to tell you the same thing I told Andrew Roy last night. It's coming. You guys are going to you're going to come in here and be talking about a win sometime soon. I have every belief of that.
I truly believe that too, and I know that our kids do, and I know that they're practicing that way. And just to show you their dedication and commitment in years past, when you have a day off, you always have 4 or 5 kids not there.
Right.
100% attendance, and that's something I've been asking for 3.5 years. So I'm real proud of that. You have to make and be proud of the gains that you get, and that was one of them for us.
Leah could tell her cousin that he's playing well. Zach Reyna.
Zach?
Yep.
I didn't know that. So makes sense now. The talent.
To one right here.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Introduced our 3 guests here.
Well, I'm going to let them do that themselves, Coach.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it over to Coach here and let him introduce his 2 young ladies.
See, part of the reason I passed that torch off to him is I'm going to let Coach say his name. I'm going to keep practicing, but I'm not going to butcher it here on radio.
You see how smart I was.
There we go.
Gerado Arzaga, Lubbock High, head girls basketball coach, and I have Alexis Lopez, senior, and Leigha Reyna, junior.
You're still just a junior?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She's been around forever. Coach, I watched you for a few years. First of all, did you know that Trent Hilliard coached at Lubbock High at one point?
Yes, I did. He reminds me just about every other week or so. Tells me to look in the foyer, look to the left right before I come into work every day.
I didn't know that until last year, and I was waiting on, I think it was Coach Reggie, waiting for him after a game, and I was sitting there reading the banners up there, and I had to stop and look. Trent Hilliard, assistant boys coach in some pretty good teams. He cut his teeth with Ron Vick, who knew a little bit about coaching basketball.
It was about I would say about a month ago. He kind of checked in on me just because I worked under him, and he put me in this position to be ready to take this job, and just reminded me those were his best years. Those were his fun years as well, especially starting coaching and things like that. So,
well, he's had some pretty good years at Friendship, and you were a part of that.
Yes.
And just real quick, I know these girls want to talk about what you're going to do this year, but the last few years at Friendship, you guys have elevated that, and you had a front row seat. You saw a lot of that, and we're a big part of that.
And that's one of the things that I want to instill in these girls and into our culture, and what we do every single day is doing things right and doing them consistently, doing them over and over and over again, trying to be perfect as much as possible, because along that way we're going to be excellent. And we're going to have some losses, but the best teams lose, and they learn from those mistakes, and that's what we try to work on every single day.
All right, let these girls take over here. Mm-hmm. All right, Leah, you know what we're not going to talk about. I am going to go back to last year. Lubbock High was this close to getting to the playoffs, and I know Brent told me it had been maybe 2014, somewhere in there. So a little bit of a dry spell, but you're walking into a very good situation, I think, where these. And Leah was also part of the softball program that had a really good season. Leah, what is the confidence with you guys with basketball, with girls sports right now, as you kind of transition into basketball?
I feel like, going like back into softball season, we were very overlooked. I feel like we weren't really. We have this type of negative connotation to our name. It's like, oh, it's just Lubbock High. So I feel like the past year, even in basketball, us barely being so close, barely kind of show people okay, we're here, and I'm super grateful Coach A came to take this job, and I feel like we have great stuff in store for us.
So you can't even say his name?
Coach Arzaga.
All right, we're coming up on the first break here on the High School Fan Zone. Come back and join us. We'll talk Lady Westerner basketball on 100.7 The Score.
Breaking down Lubbock High sports. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Lady Westerner Fan Zone. Even though Juan Rod's over there, we're going to call it the Lady Westerner Fan Zone for now, because that dude is also. Have you guys ever had a home game, or maybe a few? But are you surprised when he's not at one of your basketball games, Coach Rod?
When I look in the stands, that's the first guy I always see, the loudest one. So no, it's not really surprising.
I think he's cloned himself, because he is everywhere. Every time I show up at a Lubbock High event, that guy's there, and that's something special. He doesn't have to be that. He's got stuff he can be doing, but I think he does. I don't know.
It's really not. Truth be known, my wife just doesn't want me home, Randy.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No, I'm glad that you asked that, but I think it's the fact of these kids and what they stand for, and more importantly, not just one sport, but how she said earlier. I think people need to start looking into not just Lubbock High in one sport or another. I think it's coming for a lot of different programs, and I think we have a lot of great coaches in place. She mentioned softball, Coach Garcia, tremendous coach. Really admire her. Coach Gomez in baseball, and our two brand new coaches in basketball. And I think that type of intensity and culture, I think it's starting to spread through different programs and working together to utilize our sources to make everyone successful. And I think for me as an athletic coordinator, that has been and will always be the goal, is to develop these young coaches and make them better and put Lubbock High on the map where it definitely belongs.
And Coach Arzaga, I get it close?
Yes, sir.
You're coming from a different environment. You're coming from Friendship, where success is very high level and there is good support. Since you've been there, how has it been for you to kind of embrace the different kind of atmosphere there?
You know, being on the other side, because that's how the kids talk about it as well. And on the coaching side, we kind of see it as that too. It's LISD, it's Cooper,
Yes.
it's friendship. It's just how you do it. There's the rivalries within the rivalries.
Yep.
And so, like Leigha said, when I was on that side, I was just playing another Lubbock school. Like, we got this if we do what we're supposed to do. And I'm all about winning. Played baseball at LCU. We were successful on the field as well, and have our coaches on the staff that have played at a high level and know how to win. And that's what I'm trying to instill in these girls, that why not us? Why can't we be the ones that punch someone in the mouth and they know, oh my goodness, I do not want to play Lubbock High again. And that's kind of the mentality that we're trying to bring here. And like Coach Rod said, doing it on the boys' side, Coach Perez was really successful where he was, and just trying to instill that culture of why can't Lubbock High do it? Why not us?
All right, Alexis, you haven't got to talk yet. I'm going to get you to talk. You guys did punch some people in the mouth last year. I promise we wouldn't talk about how it finished, but you guys, you went 8-8 in district, and every time I look at last year's district standings, it's just astounding. You guys went 8-8 and finished 5th because there were 3 teams that went 14-2 and that stayed in the top 5 of the state rankings all season long. And you guys went toe-to-toe with a lot of them. Coach talked about, obviously he's not talking about literally punching anybody in the mouth, but
No.
But what's it going to take for you guys to kind of break through and get some folks' attention that you guys are right there in that mix?
I'm just going to say that us as a team, I feel like last year we were all together as one, but this year, like, us as a team and showing off, like, what Lubbock High has to show. Because last year we showed a lot, but this year, like, we could show a lot more. Because I feel like Coach A is bringing us, like, a sort of pride in our school. Like, why can't we be better than anyone else? And last year we had that, but we just couldn't finish it. But this year I feel like bringing, like, more to the program would be better. And he brought that. Like, he's bringing a source of, like, helpfulness and just helping us out with, like, our courage and everything.
How many seniors do you guys have?
And like 6.
So
So
Like, no, you gotta do 50 burpees. No, 6.
7.
So-
7.
that's a big group coming back. Now, I know you had a few seniors last year that have been around, Izzy and Faith and some girls who did great things, but having that big group back and being that close as you were last year, and this is not to disparage anybody else, with Aaliyah moved down the road, Aaliyah Chavez moved down the road to Oklahoma, things are I think the rest of the city can breathe a little bit, that
Yeah.
it's not just you can kind of compete against everybody. How excited are you for this year with a new coach, with that many seniors coming back?
I'm very excited because it gives us Aaliyah Chavez was a great player, and, like,
She was.
everyone knew, like, she was great. But I say us as, like, a program, or everybody around the schools are like, okay, yeah, like, now everyone has a chance, not just Lubbock High. But I feel like we're all great as a team.
There's nothing, it took me a long time to figure this out. There's nothing quite like girls basketball in West Texas. Lubbock High's right in that conversation. Coming up on the second break, we'll be back right after this on the Westerner Fan Zone on the 100.7 The Score. I know there's a couple of girls at Friendship that are kind of glad that.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock High Athletics. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We're going to finish up talking about the Lady Westerner basketball team. They start, I just got the schedule, or did I get the schedule? Did you send me a schedule? You may have. I told Coach my Gmail reset itself and ate a lot of stuff, so send it back to me when you get a chance.
Yeah.
You start November 8th, November 11th, somewhere around there?
7th.
7th? Who do you guys start with?
San Angelo Central.
Here, on the road?
On the road.
So that's a brave coach. First time getting on a bus for that long road trip to St. Angelo, and they have had teams in the past that could be, and they're a 6A school, so they're going to have a lot of bodies.
And again, coming from Friendship, that's who we played, and so I know who we're playing against, and that's a tough district as well. And both coaches, because when we come back home, we're playing Odessa Permian.
Okay.
And I know what's going to be out in front for these girls to be able to compete, and if you can beat those teams, then they set us up for getting ready for district when we're playing Amarillo, Tascosa, Plainview, Monterey, all those teams in our district to compete against them.
I know the TABC preseason rankings came out the other day, and they look very familiar. Monterey's number 2. I think Amarillo was 10. Tascosa was 15. So same thing for both you girls playing in that district. Like I said, you competed. And I'll talk Coach out of any burpees here. Playing for Coach, how different is that going to be when you guys step on the court against those teams we were just rattling off? And not just those, but Coronado, Lubbock, Cooper teams that you've seen year in and year out. What kind of fresh attitude do you feel like you guys will have?
I genuinely feel more motivated. I feel like Coach A has been caring for the program. Like, he's not just, yes, he's our head varsity coach, but he's not just our head varsity coach. He's coaching JV, freshman. He's getting everyone, and he's giving us that confidence. And I feel like that's something that we just like kind of like lacked like the year prior. But I feel like he's just really confidence booster. He makes us take pride in what we do, and everything we do with hustle, and like we do it with a purpose. So
I don't know. I just feel like. Can you say your question again?
Just what kind of energy has he brought since you? Because when did you get the job? Were you here this summer?
June.
Okay. So
Beginning of June.
You guys have been around him now a little bit, and since school started. What kind of energy has he brought to kind of breathe some life into you guys?
He's brought a ton of energy. He's brought motivation to us. He's brought because he said earlier, why not us? And he's brought that mentality, like everyone's doubting us. Everyone's gonna push us to the side, like, okay, we just beat them, get away with it. But I feel like he's bringing okay, well, we can beat these teams. Like, it's not just like we're a piece, like a game, And he just shows everybody on the team, hey, take pride in what we do, and the Lubbock High, and what we can show. And even outside of basketball, during the school, he's y'all represent Lubbock High, y'all represent the whole school, not just you as a person, more than one person.
All right, I'm going to turn the tables here. What have they done to breathe some life into you as a coach? Not that you came from a very high level program, but what have they done to kind of invigorate you a little bit?
What excites me is the type of personalities they have. They're really outgoing and really aggressive personalities, in a good way. The way they treat people with open arms, and I'm not saying our coaching staff. I'm saying their teammates. They're really welcoming, and they take that energy onto the court. And I think that's the approach that we're going to take this year. Is we're going to be aggressive. We're going to take chances. It's going to bite us in the butt sometimes, but that's okay, because that's the way we're going to play. And I tell people all the time, we're either going to win by 20, give someone a chance, or give us a chance to give them a game, or we're going to beat them by 20 by taking those chances and risk, and we're going to put the pressure on them to execute the passes and the open shots. Can you make those when we're attacking you 24/7 and 32 minutes of the court during the game? And so that's kind of the energy that they're bringing every single day. And like I tell them, if you can't bring 100%, then don't come today.
There you go. I will say this, from watching the Lubbock High girls play for the last 7 years, I've never seen a team that didn't come out with energy and they were not going to back down from anybody. May not win the game, like you said, but they weren't going to back down, and I always respected that. And that's West Texas girls basketball. So we'll have these folks on when we get into the season a little bit. I don't know if Coach will bring the same two players. If they're still on his good side, they might come back after this break in the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.